It could be the magic ingredient that lets you lose weight without diet or exercise.
Introducing the Living Well six-pack abs. Easier than ever, simple and easy.
Just when you started, it was over.
Easily get a great ab workout anytime, anywhere.
All the work's done for me. Fastest, easiest way to have the flat, sexy abs you've always wanted. Fastest, easiest.
Quick and easy weight loss.
My problem with most exercise programs is finding time to do them. That's not a problem with ThighMaster.
Just hanging out. Now you can firm up your core chilling at home. Walking down the street or chores around the house, chilling at home.
Chilling at home. The fastest, easiest takes just 3 minutes a day.
Don't ever expect to get things done through a shortcut. You know, if it is in bodybuilding, they look for the special food supplements or the special drug or the special this that gives you the edge and stuff like that. You can take whatever you want. But if you're not willing to work 4 or 5 hours a day in the gym, work out and work hard, you're not gonna make it.
Simple and easy.
Without diet or exercise.
All the work's done for me.
Chilling at home.
Chilling at home.
And in order to change, in order to build a business, in order to be the best parent, the best spouse, to do all those things that you know you want to do with your life, with your work, with your dreams, you're going to have to do things that are difficult, uncertain, or scary.
The generation that we call the millennials, too many of them grew up subject to failed parenting strategies. They were told that they were special. They were told that they could have anything they want in life, just because they want it. And they're thrust into the real world, and in an instant they find out they're not special, their moms can't get them a promotion, that you get nothing for coming in last, and by the way, you can't just have it because you want it.
$149, $138 switch, please. Turn and face the curtain. Turn and face front. 46 and 67 switch. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay guys, so we just got done with prejudging, and it was a stacked lineup. Like, probably the most stacked single class that I have ever been in. But it was still good. They put me in the middle. I started in the middle and they didn't move me around. I stayed in, like, you know, it's the middle guy, and then like the second and third on either side, I forget which one's which, and then fourth and fifth on the other side. So right now I'm hoping to go for the top 3, which in, you know, an NPC show is a big deal for me. We'll see where it goes, but yeah, I was backstage and I see these guys, I'm like, crap. I'm like, damn it, okay.
Yeah, they were really good.
Yeah, it was a big time. But I want that. That's why I came here, right? That's why I didn't go to the same show that I do every year for like the 3rd time, right? Because eventually, you know, it's almost like not as fun to just beat down on guys who are in their first show or whatever in like a small-ish, you know, organization.
Local show, yeah.
So it's much more challenging, but it's also a little bit more interesting, and it gives you guys something exciting to watch. It's not like, okay, Igor wins again. It's like, Igor might not come top 3 or top 5 or whatever. So yeah. Either way, Jordan and I are gonna go grab a bite to eat, and also maybe try to see Kingsman because we got like 3 or 4 hours to kill, and I don't know what to do.
66, Igor.
No!
Penchansky.
No!
Yeah, Igor!
67, Osman Hussein. 138, George Mera. And 149, Gregory Kane. In 5th place, number 67, Osman Hussein.
Right, Noble. You have another place over here, buddy. First place.
In 4th place, number 138, George Mera.
I can see it. I can smell it.
In 3rd place, number 66, Igor Openshansky.
Yeah, Igor!
Oh, you Noble.
Okay, join hands, please. Join hands the guy next to you. Hands up. Everybody.
Okay guys, that's it. That is the end of my 2017 competition season, drawing to a dramatic closing with 3rd place, which to be honest, I'm not too angry against. I mean, I mentioned it earlier in the video, but that was like probably the most competitive show that I have ever been involved in. I mean, when I was backstage, usually I'm kind of hard on myself. I'm like, oh man, these guys look good, but I think I can do it. This time I was like, god damn. Yeah, that was a bit more challenging. But I wanted to close out this video, and I wanted to really kind of like shoot the shit a little and talk about this whole year and specifically this competition and a lot of stuff. And actually, one thing I'm gonna try a little bit different, because you guys always tell me, Igor, you know, you talk so long, your videos go on to like 30 minutes of rambling. Number 1, yeah, welcome to my channel. But number 2, I'm working on it. So what we're gonna do this time is I've got a lot of topics I wanna touch upon to pretty much close out and get everything off of my mind to finish off this series, finish off this competition year once and for all. And I don't wanna ramble on too much, so what I'm gonna do, guys, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I'm gonna be talking about. There's a couple points I want to hit, and I'm going to throw them up on screen right now in terms of timestamp. So if you guys are not really interested in some of these things, you can cut to whatever you are interested in. Also, I'm going to leave all of these down in the description box below, so you can go down there and click on whatever you are interested in. Number 1 is the competition. The competition was pretty goddamn fierce this time. So the way it worked is I was in a class of unfortunately only 5 guys. The previous class before me, the shorter class, had like 16 or something or 12, but the taller class, I think it's like 5'11" or 6 feet and above. I can't remember which one it is. There's only 5 guys because, again, bodybuilding is a sport which is predominantly, it's kind of dominated by slightly shorter guys, I believe. You see a lot of people who are jacked at 5'10", a lot more than you'll see people who are jacked at like 6'3". Usually they're a little taller, lankier. It's just not as much. But that being said, still, those 5 guys, it was crazy. Usually in a class, you'll have guys who are really good, and then okay, and then no offense, like not that great, like they definitely need a little bit more time. Maybe they're very young, maybe they're just new to this, maybe it's their first show. This case, no, literally, 1 was great, all the way through 5 was fantastic. And I'm gonna get a little bit more about that later on, but it was definitely the most challenging show that I have ever been involved in. And part of that, I think, is because it's in the States, just bigger population, bodybuilding maybe a little bit bigger. I mean, it was in Brooklyn, which is pretty much New York, so that's not that surprising. Number 3, unfair placing. This one, surprisingly, is not related to me. Well, actually, it is kind of related to me, but not in the way that you guys may think. So, the guy who finished 5th, I don't know what the fuck that was, because I'll be honest, like to the judges, like no offense, you know, with all due respect, what the fuck were you thinking? Number 5 looked amazing. On stage, in the photos, in the videos, me personally standing next to him, I was like, this is incredible. His physique was stupendous for a men's physique standard. His physique, in my opinion, definitely deserved to be at a higher level. We're talking state or even national level competition. He was shredded, he had a small waist, he had shoulders that were double my size. Like, I will never get those shoulders, just genetically, it's not gonna happen. I don't have the insertions for that. I just don't think it's ever gonna happen. His 6-pack was phenomenal, it was symmetrical, every muscle group was developed, he was shredded, probably a good 1% leaner in body fat than I was. I was like really mere and hard, and he finished 5th, and I finished 3rd, and I'm thinking that's a travesty. He should have finished higher, probably as high as, like, you know, beating even me. I went up to him actually after the show, and I told him, dude, I shook his hand, I'm like, hey man, I'll be honest,
you should have placed higher than me. Like, this medal should be yours. I'm not gonna give it to you because I like having this and I want to take it home, but honestly, like, you should place high. It shouldn't be, like, not even my medal. You should have gotten probably like as high as second or even like fighting for first, in my personal opinion. Big deltoids, perfectly symmetrical, full pecs. The only place that wasn't that great, I think he was a little off with his posing. Maybe it was like his first show or second show or something, because he was kind of like inconfident. He wasn't that confident with his posing. And in the back, my back kicked his ass. I will admit. Maybe that's what pushed me over the edge. And in that case, I kind of understand. His back wasn't that great, both in terms of the posing he was doing. Again, maybe he's a little bit more new to this, and also in terms of the development, the size, the V-taper, the overall definition in the back, being able to differentiate between the lats, the rhomboids, the rear deltoids, all the minor details that my back fortunately does have. I just have a naturally good back. He wasn't that great. However, from the front, he was incredible, and I do think that my back is definitely, it may have pushed me a little bit over the edge, but I think that his front pushed him way over the edge. I would have placed him a lot higher, nowhere near fifth, probably towards, as high as third, second, or even first. I would not complain about that. So that is what bodybuilding is, or men's physique. It is a subjective sport, but honestly, that's the thing. That's why it is kind of dumb, because I think he didn't feel that great afterwards. You can tell he was like a little bit down, because you finished last in your call out in your category. Obviously, you're not gonna be like high five. But honestly, I'm like, dude, if you're watching this, you look fantastic. I would trade my physique for your physique any day of the week. So yeah, judges, whatever, you know it better than I do, but fuck that. I will take his physique any day. Number 4, my physique compared to last year's. This one is interesting. So I would probably say size-wise, in terms of actual muscle mass, probably the same, maybe honestly 1 pound of lean muscle mass heavier, but when you take 1 pound of lean muscle mass, it's a lot, but when you distribute it over the course of your entire body, 6 feet, 180 pounds, it becomes a tiny amount. It's barely noticeable. So I don't know. I don't know. In terms of definition, I would probably say that relatively similar. Last year, there was this one photo shoot or video shoot I did with Jordan in the gym, and I keep on using it because it's the best photos I've ever had, and it's the best video I've ever made in terms of my physique. That was the best I've ever looked. I didn't look that good the following week when I actually competed. That was about 1 week out. I didn't look that good on show day, and I didn't look that good that show day or this show day. I don't know what it was. That one day, I don't know if it was the sodium or the carbs or something happened that one day. It was a miracle. I don't know why. I just looked the leanest, the fullest I ever have in my life. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the lighting. The lighting in that gym was incredible, but for some reason, that one moment in time, that was the best physique. That was the best my physique has ever looked, and I have not been able to recreate that show, in 2016 or this show now. I think I look good, but 9 out of 10, not 10 out of 10. But to be honest, I really think maybe it was just the goddamn lighting, because that was some excellent lighting. Again, bodybuilding is a sport of illusions. You get the right lighting, you can look 2% leaner in body fat. But on the other hand, you want to look twice as bad, get really shitty lighting, don't shave, and don't get a tan. Be pale as hell. Suddenly, immediately, you look like 3% heavier in body fat. But overall, in terms of my physique, I think it would probably be as good as last year. Maybe if anything, maybe just I don't know. It's really, really similar. But the most important thing is that I do not think it was that improved over last year. I think at best I'm the same, and that kind of does suck, and that is technically natural bodybuilding. I remember the first time I ever heard anybody talking about this was the Hodge twins. They talked about this years ago. They talked about natural bodybuilding, and they were saying how it's cool and all, but over time you realize after your first couple years of training or competing, you kind of just max out. And eventually, as you get older, you kind of start to decline, because you just can't break a certain wall. There is a certain level of genetic limitation or genetic potential where you can't just keep on putting on muscle. You can improve in things like definition, and you can get leaner. You can improve on posing. You can become an overall better athlete. You can improve your physique. But in terms of just putting on more muscle and size, there is a limitation. Now, I don't know if I'm there yet, but I do know I am never gonna be able to surpass that if I keep doing this process of cutting and bulking every year. Now I'm gonna talk more about that in the end, pretty much what my goals are for the next 2017, 2018, and pretty much what I intend to fix this. But essentially, like, long story short, you guys can skip to that if you want, I need to go on a longer bulk. Doing this yo-yo dieting, guys, I've competed, like gotten as lean as I possibly can in the summer of 2014, 15, 16, and 17. That's 4 years of competing. I've done 5 shows. That's cool and all, and that's great. And part of the reason I do that is for you guys, YouTube, social media, because you want to be able to show the process of cutting down and becoming as aesthetic as you possibly can. But in terms of the long-term goal, that's not great. Going up and down and never giving yourself more than 4, 5, 6 months to actually put on muscle mass and going on a bulk, it's not good for the long term. If you want to look your best, and if you want to build the best physique possible, you need to take longer times off. What I've been doing, I'll be honest, has been a bit better for social media, I think, because you want to have the shredded Instagram photos and the shredded YouTube photos, and you want to be aesthetic in the 6-pack. And I was in Australia for over half a year. There's no way I am in Australia, a beautiful beach country, spending every day tanning on the beach and stuff. There's no way I'm doing that at a higher body fat percentage level. So lots of times you have to kind of ask yourself, what's better for my physique versus what's better for social media and business. And it's oftentimes the two don't go hand in hand. Sometimes what's best for your physique may involve you going up a little bit in body fat percentage, not necessarily sitting here being like shredded all year round. We will get into that a little bit later, but I want to talk about 2 things with 2017, the Ascension specifically, good and bad. So good is that I have been lean for a damn long time. Not shredded, but lean, the longest time in my life. Every year up until now, whenever I did get lean, I would cut down for 4 or 5 months, and I would probably be still kind of fat for the first month or 2. So realistically, I would only be actually lean to the point where you have a 6-pack for like 3.5, 4 months at the most. This time, because when I was in Australia, I started cutting back, gently cutting back in like January. I got to relatively lean, like 6-pack mode by like March, and then I kind of stayed around there, kind of jumping up and down, as low as 178, as high as like 184, 183, kind of staying in that range depending on like time of the year or whether I was doing an expo or it's like, oh shit, Student Aesthetics and Rob Lipson, I'm gonna be in videos with them, so I gotta cut down a little bit. And I only really hit the gas in terms of when my actual competition prep started when I got back from Australia in July. So the good news is that I was lean for the longest time I've ever been in my life. I was lean for well over a half of a year, pretty much 6-pack mode or even more, which is fantastic. But the bad is, I really think that this year was the hardest in terms of my competition prep. I do feel that certain things I did, which would work in previous years, it did still work, but it wasn't as fast and it was a little bit more difficult. I had to dive into lower calories earlier in my competition prep, and it just wasn't as easy, and it just didn't come as fast and as well as it did in previous years. So it's like, I was able to be lean relatively easily for the whole year, but to get down, for me, anything in around 180 is relatively lean, but for me to get down to the low 170s, to lose an additional 7, 8, 9 pounds of body fat, previous years it wasn't that high of a level of difficulty. It was obviously hard, yet it's hard work. Let's get let's not beat around the bush. Let's cut the shit. It's hard work. But this year was especially hard work. And I do think that the reason behind that is, once again, because of this yo-yo dieting. 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, this constant getting shredded, getting not fat, but like getting fluffy, getting shredded, getting fluffy, just back and forth, back and forth. My metabolism is it's all over the place. And I'm not gonna dive into anything like metabolic damage or metabolic slowdown, because to do that, I need to go into another 30-minute video, and it's gonna take a lot more research, and that's a whole separate topic. But I definitely do think that maybe that contributed to the increased level of difficulty and the decreased level of speed of weight loss that I experienced this year. That being said, I put my fucking head down, and I was still able to get down to 173 pounds, which is actually less than I was last year, like give or take like a pound, which is another reason why I'm really excited to take some time off and not compete again until much later. Topic number 7 is, okay, so it was hard. Is that a fucking excuse? Did I quit? Did I say, all right guys, I'm not competing this year, it's just too hard, I'm gonna go back into a bulk, I'm gonna try again in next year? No. Nobody gives a shit. The judges didn't ask me, how hard was it for you, Igor? Was it easy? Was it difficult? What are your genetics like? Do you have to cut on 2,500 calories or 1,900 calories? Guess what? It's the second option. Nobody gives a shit about that. And I've talked about that a lot of times on my channel, and that's one of the prevailing attitudes towards my channel. I think that so many times in the fitness
and diet weight loss industry, not just fitness YouTube, but think bigger. Think like, you know, the whole world. I mean, 1/3 of America is obese, 2/3 of America are overweight. North America and the whole world has a big issue with things like obesity and weight loss. And a lot of times people try to find shortcuts, easy way outs, whether it's supplements or magic diets or pills or drugs or something, right? Regular dieting, you know, eat less, move more, that can't be it. It's gotta be something more. There's gotta be a secret trick to it. And I'm not saying that, you know, it's that simple. It's not as simple as just like eat less food. There are more complicated things involved, you know. There are obviously like macronutrients, flexible dieting to some extent, things like intermittent fasting. There are other things involved, but at the same time, I do think that a lot of times people, they try to look for easy way outs or shortcuts or magic fixes. Get the fuck over it. That shit doesn't exist. Trust me, I've competed 5 times. I've been doing this for years. I've been doing this for over a decade. I've been 205 pounds and bulked up bear mode fat guy. And I've been like 170 pounds shredded down like, you know, single digit body fat percentage. I've been up and down. There's no magic secret to it. There are certain skills and tools that you could use, yes, which could work for different people. Maybe make the process a little bit easier or a little different depending on your personal schedule, your lifestyle, your whatever, your preferences. You have this range of difficulty and it could fluctuate in that range, but it's never gonna go below and get into like super easy, you know, effortless. That shit doesn't happen. At the end of the day, dieting and getting leaner involves a calorie deficit. A calorie deficit is an energy deficit, and an energy deficit is just like it sounds like. You do not have enough energy. That is not gonna feel good. That is not gonna be easy no matter what way you cut it. Anybody else who tries to tell you the opposite, I strongly disagree with them, I'll put it nicely. So that's what I wanted to do in the beginning of this video. I wanted to show that although this year, it wasn't, you know, easy, maybe it was even a little bit harder than in previous years, you shut the fuck up, you put your head down, and you keep going. Yeah, sure, you can change your strategy if you need to, and if you feel that it's gonna help you, but you don't stop, you don't turn back, if you wanna fucking do it, you fucking do it. I finished the Ascension. I finished my competition prep. I came 3rd, which is not bad. I'm very happy with that, against extremely competitive athletes, against the highest caliber of athletes that I personally have ever competed against or experienced against. It was fucking hard, but I did it. I'm not saying I'm incredible. I'm not saying I'm Superman, but you know, I'm just someone who fucking wanted to do it and I did it. And I think a lot of people out there, when shit gets hard, when weight loss gets hard, or anything, when school, when work gets hard, they start looking for alternatives, they start looking for easy ways out, they start looking for this and that and that. No, shut the fuck up. Arnold said it best. Nothing really beats hard work. That's the #1 tool you can use. That's the be all to end all. That's what I wanted to do in the beginning of this video. That's what my little motivational kind of thing in the first 2-3 minutes. And I don't do those things just for you guys. I do them for myself. Sometimes, honestly, to this day, sometimes I will make these things and like a year or 2 later, I will go back and rewatch them. 9 out of 10 times, I'm go, go, go. But especially last couple weeks of a competition prep, I'm tired, I'm low energy, I got leg day, I might not be feeling it. That's what I use those videos for. So to be honest, guys, first and foremost, I make those videos for myself, to wake myself up and Igor, get your fucking shit together. You got these competitors at the end of the season who are gonna be kicking your ass if you are not in your best shape. You've got 200,000+ subscribers who are potentially watching you, who are gonna be like, you know, kicking your ass if you don't look your best, if you don't at least try your fucking best and give it 110%. And that's why I make those things for myself, and obviously some of you guys out there enjoy it too, and I really hope you do. And if it even motivates 1% of you to get off your ass, go have a good workout, go eat well and not cheat on your diet eating bullshit, great, I've done my job. That at the end of the day, that is my fucking job. Everything else is fluff. So that's it, guys. Sorry if that got a little preachy, but the world doesn't give a shit about your excuses. And if you want to go and you want to quit and you want to find some alternative and you want to look for some shortcut, all you're going to do is dick around in circles, waste your time, and come to the difficult eventual conclusion that you just got to keep going forward. And nothing is going to give you a shortcut. Nothing is going to make the process overly easy and effortless. It's not gonna happen. And the last 2 things I wanna talk about are my immediate and long-term goals. So my immediate goal is very simple. I'm gonna spend all of October, and I have been spending all of October, getting back to normal. Ideally getting back to reasonable strength standards, reasonable ability to handle workout volume, because both of those were kind of inhibited and they took a hard hit
near the last 1 or 2 months of my competition prep, which sucks, but that's completely okay. That's completely expected. Your body's low on energy. You're probably not going to be training like Superman. And pretty much getting back to a much more normal physique for me, personally. And I'm going to be doing videos about that soon, so look out for that. I've already jumped into more heavier type of like power bodybuilding kind of training, but I'm really just easing into it. I want to settle into something, jumping into the final thing I want to mention for this video. The final goal, I want to jump into something much more long-term. I don't want to compete again until 2019 at the earliest, which means 2017, I'm going to finish this year off. In 2018, we're looking at over a year of consistently being in a maintenance, or ideally, most likely, in a calorie surplus, putting on muscle mass. And if that means gaining a little bit of body fat percentage, yes, I am okay with that. I don't want to be one of those guys who advocates being shredded all the time. It's not healthy, it's not optimal for putting on muscle and strength, and especially for natural guys, it's just not realistic, and it's not something which I truly advocate. I mean, you can do it, and I have done it. In the long term, if you want to put on muscle and strength, the optimal situation is you are going to have to get into a much more reasonable body fat percentage. Anywhere from 13 as high as, I don't know, 16% around there. It's give or take. It's, when I get into numbers, it's so subjective, and what people interpret as 15% body fat is different from what someone else interprets as. But the point is, like, not shredded six pack, not fat either. Don't get me wrong. This is not going to be a dirty bulk. I'm never going to be like 210 pounds again, mid to high 180s or even the 190s. I am okay with that, because that is when I feel and perform my absolute best. That is when I'm my strongest, and that is when I do feel that long-term consistently I can maybe put on some muscle mass. Again, like I mentioned earlier in this video, I don't know if I'm at my genetic potential yet. The only way I can know if this is the case or not is I need to try to push past it, and I can't do that if I'm cutting every 3 or 4 months. I need to be in a long-term, we're talking over a year, calorie, like a good state calorically, in terms of having sufficient calories and carbohydrates to push my body into at least a maintenance, ideally into a surplus, and aiming for putting on muscle and strength. Not just maintaining muscle while I'm trying to shred down, but long-term being in a position like that. I don't know, guys, sorry if I'm rambling. I've been talking for like 40 minutes, but that is what I want to aim for the next year and a half. And that doesn't necessarily mean powerlifting. You guys know, if you watch my channel for like, a year or two, I have taken powerlifting more seriously in the past. I've never been super seriously into it, because at the end of the day, I am still a hypertrophy athlete, someone more so focused on putting on muscle. That is my #1 goal. But if some strength comes along in the process, sure, why not? I have no problem. I have no quarrels with that. However, I have competed in powerlifting in the past, and I don't think that's gonna be my goal around this time. I do want to get stronger on things like the bench press and the squat, and I do want to put on muscle. That is my #1 goal. For my goal right now is not necessarily to deadlift 600 pounds. My goal more so is I want to put on as much muscle as possible, live as healthy of a lifestyle as I can. Something which is relatable to the average viewer of mine who's 30, 20, 40, anything, right? A lot of guys out there, you guys aren't interested in deadlifting 6 plates, putting on some muscle, feeling good, and I want to be able to do things like I want to be able to run 5 kilometers in under 22 minutes, like I did when I was 16. Although at the time I was like 160 pounds and I was a really thin little kid, but cardiovascularly, I was a much stronger athlete. I want to be able to sprint 100 meters much faster. Right now I can barely do it in like 15 or 16 seconds or something, and I want to be able to do it consistently under like 14, 13, something like that. I don't know if I can get to it, because like 11 or 10 is like Olympic levels, but if I can get under like a 13 or 13.5 100 meter, that would be awesome. I want to be the perfect synergy of athletic performance and muscle and strength, and most importantly, health. I just want to feel fantastic each and every day, and I want this to go long term. I don't want to snap my shit up because I was trying to, deadlift 700 pounds, and next thing you know, I'm 40 years old and I've got back problems and all this shit. No, I want to feel great, and I want to keep doing this until I'm like 80 years old. I want it literally to be my goal that when I'm like 90 years old, people say like, oh, what happened? Well, at 4 o'clock he died, but at 2 o'clock he was in the gym, and at 10 a.m. he woke up for a morning jog. That's what I want my goal to be. And if I want to do that long term, I need to factor in all these goals I want to take them into consideration. I want to be an overall health and fitness, strength, aesthetics channel. I don't just want to pick one thing. And I know that kind of sucks, because you know how they say, like, you try to be a jack of all trades, but you end up being a master of none. You end up being kind of crappy at multiple things as opposed to really, really good at one thing, well, I kind of disagree with that. I don't think I'm going to be crappy at a lot of things. I think I'll just be good at a few things as opposed to incredible at one. And if I have to do that, that's okay. Because if I can, satisfy all of these requirements, but I don't have a 600 pound or 700 pound deadlift at the end of the day, I'm okay with that. That is my goal. That being said, I still want to get bigger. I still want to get stronger. Who the fuck are we kidding here? And that's it, guys. It's a long talk, but I want to do one of these, at the end of 32 episodes. And the last thing I want to say is thank you so much. I mean, some of these videos, they break like 50,000 views consistently. 50,000 views is the Sky Dome or the Rogers Center, which I don't know, you can't really see it. It's like somewhere out there. But the fact that there's that many of you guys who consistently come to see my videos is ridiculous. I mean, imagine a stadium full of people. So I just want to say that even though there is a stadium full of you guys, occasionally watching these videos, I still appreciate each and every one of you. I was really glad that I can do this with you. And I really hope that my Ascension series helps some of you guys, whether it motivated you to get off your ass, go into the gym. And I don't care if you're, some young guy who's lifting and benching 4 plates, or if you're some like 50-year-old dude who just wants to feel a little better, get your, look a little bit like you did when you were like younger, feel healthier. You don't have to be in the gym 7 times a week, busting your ass for 2 hours trying to go for world-class levels of strength. You could be just going for a jog every now and then. You just want to have some energy to play with your kids or even your grandkids, and you want to look a little better for your significant other or for yourself or for whoever, who gives a shit. If you want to do that, and if my channel's been able to help you do that, been able to motivate you, or maybe inform you if you're ever interested in some of these topics and you needed someone to break it down and clarify, which I do in 40-minute videos, but I still try. Fuck it, anything. If you enjoy it, I appreciate that, and I guess I'm doing my job, and I hope to continue doing it and continue doing it better. And now I'm really looking forward to, because the Ascension's over, I can kind of get into any kind of video idea I want. It's no longer a responsibility to do like a vlog and give you guys updates. Now I can do fully informative videos, fully comedic videos, anything I fucking want. It's anything, and it's kind of cool. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this series, and what's to come soon as well. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video, the non-Ascension video, but still a VitruvianPhysique video. So it's gonna be like 30 minutes long. God damn it.
Hadouken!